Welcome back, everybody, to another video. If you want to learn trading, why don't you come and learn from Siri? Boom! Anyways, welcome back to another video, guys. Look, man, today I'm in the mood to teach. Not only just in the mood to teach, like I've been trying to reflect. I'm like, yo, man, there was a time when my channel was bumping. There was a time where everybody was coming here, you know what I'm saying? And I've reflected on that. And it seems like I always do better numbers when I'm actually teaching. I mean, when am I not teaching? But for real though, you guys like charts and you guys like more like physical things. You guys like to see the tangibles, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's definitely a great opportunity today to learn. So man, enjoy the video, man. So we're going to be talking about change in the state of delivery today. And I've been had this slide done for a long time. But I was like, man, I got to get back to teaching. I got to get back to my roots. And so I got inspired today. I also feel like I'm more comfortable as I'm teaching you guys because I feel like this is just my natural mode. I love to teach people and I love to learn as well. So just as much as I could be a student, I could also be a teacher, and just as much as I could be a teacher, I could also be a student. And I just love, playing both sides always. And these are like the modes that I'm always in. You know, like a microphone or like a headset where you can put a different mode, or like a car, you can put different driving modes. Like my two modes are literally, teach, student, teach, student. So I like being on these two pendulums. But anyways, man. Let's get into it, man. Change the state of delivery. Just keep in mind that I'm not a financial advisor. You guys know the deal. I don't got to go too much into depth about that. But today we're going to do a little bit of chart work. We're going to do a little bit of change in the state of delivery stuff as well. So I just want to help you guys better understand this stuff. Again, I'm not the creator of this. I didn't create these things. The creator of this and the one who exposed me to all of this is ICT. There have been some people in my journey, such as Mr. Kashane himself, who have developed a lot of understanding in these specific things. So yes, ICT, created these things, but yes, I've also had other people who taught me, to demify this down for me to understand. And a lot of people have mixed opinions on what change in the state of delivery is. And a lot of people get into too many specifics, but I'm just going to go into what I believe and what I find to be true. And I'm going to have some examples of where change in state of delivery plays a role. So we're gonna get into some charts and we're gonna do a lot of this stuff. So y'all just gonna get into it. All right. So what is the change in the state of delivery? That is what CSD means. When you see the abbreviation CSD, that means change in the state of delivery, my friends. Okay. So change in the state of delivery. This is what I've always believed to be true, and it's what helps me understand it and see it on the charts. So if you want to word this or make this into a statement that makes it easy for you to understand, I would suggest that you also flip this belief, statement, whatever you want to call it, and make it work for you. I'm very confident that when you start redefining things to the way that you understand things, I feel like it makes things click. So for me, this is what made change in state of delivery click, and it just made sense based off what I was looking at. So change in the state of delivery is the accumulation of the counterparty. So, as you guys know, ICT says, if there's buy-side liquidity, that buy stops are above there. So smart money is going to pair shorts with those who are going long, right? So that's what I'm doing, right? Literally, that's what the definition is. Change in state of delivery is the accumulation of the counterparty. The counterparty is somewhere. Wherever you find that somewhere, then the change in the state of delivery will accumulate that counterparty. That's all I'm saying. This helps me understand it. It's that simple. The origin is, and this is why I was explaining, at the opposing liquidity run, the probability of the state of delivery to change is high. So in areas where there is liquidity or fair value, the probability of the state of delivery to change is high. So the state of delivery is bound to change whenever liquidity is taken. Write that down. Okay. So change in the state of delivery forms at PD arrays. So here I'm trying to delineate the origin of where these things are likely to happen. Where is change in state of delivery likely to happen? Where could you see it on a chart? Where does it form? I'm a very big believer that if you know where a setup is going to form, no matter the day, right? If you know where things form or are likely to form, then you can just simply wait for it and anticipate it. And then when it happens, you guys are right there. You guys are just, pushing the button when you see it happen, and it'll all be based off your understanding and not just patterns. All right. Because you're just not going to sell every order blocks high and every order blocks low that's taken. You're going to wait for a specific area, a specific key level, a specific place in price where you would see, change in state of delivery happen at high probability. So they form at opposing liquidity runs and they form at PD arrays. And there are only 3 states of delivery. And for today, we're only going to get into 2 because even C, right, is something that I'm still learning as even with all these years. And I feel like I'm not so in depth with delayed delivery. And I don't think it's necessary for you to know. I just put it here because I was inspired to just, put it down. So I did it. But just to let you guys know, there are 3 states of delivery. And this is what I find to be true. If ICT says that that's not the case, and, he says that there is more or less, then you guys listen to ICT. This is what works for me. I'm telling you guys, I don't really care. I've learned how to be an independent thinker, and I've learned to just focus on what helps me achieve my goals. Point blank, period. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to want to prove anyone wrong or right. I am just saying this is what works for me. Boom. So our focus of delivery is buy side and sell side. So there's only 2 sides of delivery. And as you guys probably know, for you market maker model gurus, there's the buy side of the curve and then there's the sell side of the curve. Those are the only 2 curves that are happening. There's a buy side inefficiency, a sell side inefficiency. There's a buy side imbalance, a sell side imbalance. Those are the only 2 deliveries that are occurring in price. Everything else is nonsense. Yes, there's consolidations, but I'm saying our focus of deliveries are going to be the ones that are on buy side and sell side. Consolidations, of course, are part of the game, and which is why I said that is a delayed. Delayed delivery is consolidations. It's delayed. Okay, so we have here, why is change in the state of delivery important? So for me, these are the big points that I had to write down for you guys to understand. This is what I've written in my journal in the past. And so change in the state of delivery is important because it gives you a reference point to when the order flow has changed its state of delivery from a previous state. Wait, hold on. Yes, a reference point, right? So when you get a reference point, what happens? Like, for example, it's like getting a signal. Like whenever you get, bitten by a bug, your nervous system literally tells you, like you feel when something's crawling on you. If something bites you, you feel it on your body. So you automatically start looking or scratching that area because that's where you're feeling it. That's where you're getting that signal from. So it's the same thing here. It's a reference point, right? To when the order flow has changed its state of delivery from a previous state. So before it was probably buy side, and now the state of delivery is going to change to sell side. So it gives you a reference point, when you see the change in the state. So it helps you measure the appropriate draw for the current price of delivery. So if the state of delivery has changed, then that means that there's a new draw in place. There's a new draw in liquidity. And when that change in the state of delivery happens, now there's also a draw where price is trying to reach to now in that new delivery. In that new delivery, price is trying to reach a new draw, period. It helps you anticipate the incoming delivery around the change in state. Of course, it'll help you anticipate because you say, all right, it's been buying or it's been bullish, right? There's been only buy side delivery. And now I am anticipating when the change in the state of delivery happens, I'm anticipating sell side delivery around the change in the state of delivery. It could be the start to sponsored moves that have sustained runs in specific directions. Absolutely. Right? It could be that at this specific time, liquidity was collected, it was absorbed, it was accumulated, whatever the word is for you guys. And then we start to see drastic moves or sponsored moves, large moves that have sustained runs in a specific direction. Okay? So we're going to get past that one. And these are the footprints to the change in the state of delivery. Chain J is the most common one. These are just some of the different variations that I've seen over the years and over the time I've spent some time on the charts. Just because you guys see change A and then change B and then change C, because there's like 3 of them that I have here, and you don't see it happening in your charts, oh my gosh, it doesn't work. Listen, folks. This, for me, the footprint to the change in the state of delivery is what helps me delineate, gauge myself of what's possible. And it helps me more manage my stop loss better and not really much my entries. Like my entries, yeah, sometimes it's going to happen in front of me and I'm going to be able to enter these nice, super nice, precise entries. But this is more for my management of my position, knowing where to place my stop loss inside of an order block. This is what this helps me with. All right, so here to the left, we have the overnight session or range. What is this range? A range that holds buy side and sell side liquidity. It doesn't matter what you can name this range. It doesn't matter if this is Asian range for you. It doesn't matter if this is London range for you. It doesn't matter if this is the overnight session. It doesn't matter if this is New York lunch. Whatever the case may be for you, this is just a range. And it has sell side and buy side above it. That's all you should worry about. So change A is the classic. Okay, this is what everybody knows, and I'm not recreating anything. I'm not reinventing the wheel. Remember that there's nothing new under the sun, as I've stated in my previous video. And this is an engulfing pattern. It's that simple. When you see an engulfing pattern, when liquidity is taken, that is a confirmation of the change in the state of delivery. Keep in mind that the change in the state of delivery itself is simply when the opposing liquidity is taken. When you see an order blocks high and order blocks low taken, that is just a confirmation that only requires a return to the order block high. In this case, since we're talking about a bullish order block, a potential bullish order block, or the opening price, or as far as the mean threshold. Change A does not require for price to retrace and offers immediate rebalances. Change A is not delayed, but rather quick runs to the specified draw on liquidity. Depending on how the candle that closes above the order block, that confirms the order block, that confirms the change in the state of delivery after liquidity is taken, right? Which is why I always say order blocks that take liquidity are the only true form of liquidity. Period. If the order blocks are not formed at liquidity, for me, I don't really consider that an order block. It could be an order block. Okay, you know what? Because I know you guys watch ICT, and I still watch ICT as well. But you know what? Since I'm having some people here who refer to my content, and they also reference to ICT's content, right? I'm going to tell you guys, look, pay attention to ICT versus me. Don't let me confuse you. It's just the way I explain it to myself and the way it works for me. So listen, this is the highest form of high probability for an order block. It's when the order block takes liquidity. So that would mean that a change in the state of delivery is already in place because the order block itself took the liquidity. Then we anticipate that order block to show us confirmation of the change in the state of delivery, which is why it's a potential order block. Okay. This type of change as well is very normal. This is like the most, classic, number one go-to change in the state of delivery. When this happens here and you see it, then you'll see the order blocks high being taken, And then these moves are quick, like very minimal retracements. Real big retracements are not really needed. There's not too much playing around. It literally, when you see this green candle that comes after close above that order block high, it's like off to the races. It's gone. It's a little goner. No games. So this is your high probability change in state delivery. When you see this type of confirmation, this is like your go-to. All right. There's another one that I want you guys to pay attention to, and this one specifically is change B. Change B is more for folks who like to really be precise and really like to look into the intricate details of price. Hence myself, why I put change B. I love price action. I love just being on the charts at times and looking at the different type of phenomenons that the chart has to offer. And so change B is specifically to take out the order blocks high with the wick and not an actual close outside of the order block. Change B typically will retrace back to the rejection block or require deep retracements. So listen to this. Whenever there is a high resistance liquidity run signature under an order block, and then the order block's high is also being taken with a wick, this type of delivery is what you'll see. You'll either see a wick come back to this rejection block area, or you'll see bodies stop there, but the wick come and take out this candle's low right here. Those are things that are very possible, and you just have to learn how to be comfortable with it. So whenever I see like this high resistance liquidity signature, I'm always trying to stay alert about it. And I'm like, okay, I have to start paying attention or try to gauge it, because if I put my stop right under, mean threshold, I'm likely to get stopped out. I'm playing with fire when I do that. So when I see this, I'm like, all right, let me open. Number one, I can open up my stop loss. And number two, I can enter when there's a deeper retracement into the order block and then just have still the same type of range for my stop loss to entry. That way, there's not too much risk involved in this trade, or I'm not opening my risk or my size in here. Okay. Now this one is change in state delivery, change C. So this one, change C, typically accumulates at the mean threshold. Change C typically will not come back to the opening price of an order block. It will be explosive and one-sided. So sometimes you'll see price like a candle, bullish order block again, opposing liquidity run, and then a candle will come here and close above that 50% of this order block here. And then they'll accumulate at the 50% or the mean threshold of the order block, and then they'll just scream it. This one's a lot harder to spot and to trust than some of the others. So this one, I just have this one as one of the ones that I've seen. But as far as like being able to always enter inside of this one, I mean, this one's kind of hard to get into. And this one I feel like takes a lot of guts, because it's an aggressive one for sure. It takes an aggressive trader to be in this one, and also it takes a lot of experience, I feel like, to be in this one and be able to manage your emotions, manage your position, also managing your expectations. This one just requires just some practice behind it before you can really start implementing it in your own personal strategy. So this is just an axiom. If you know where the liquidity is at, right? You know where fair value is at. If you know where fair value is at, you know where your order blocks are going to form. This right here was taught to me by Kish. He is my second mentor. He was the one that was able to handhold me. And this right here, this helps me like kind of gauge if I'm choosing the right order block, if the order block that I'm looking at is potential, has potential, is high probability. So this just helps me out in that regard. Okay, so the prerequisites to understand this axiom, you have to understand liquidity and what liquidity looks like, and where does it form, and what's at liquidity. And you also have to understand fair value. What's the process of fair value, and why would we need fair value in order to transact in congruence to those who have a large liquidity in the market. Understanding of order blocks as well. You have to understand the anatomy of an order block. Where do you put your stop at? Where does price like to retrace to? And these things are not hard at all. If you want to learn about this, I would say go find videos on these specific things on ICT's channel. He is the one who authored these things. I give credit to ICT all the time. A lot of you guys are in my comments talking about, oh, you're stealing work. I'm not stealing no work. And when you say things like that, it's like, I know you haven't watched the video because I know you haven't given credit. I gave credit to the creators of this stuff, and I'm not a creator at all. And if anything, I'm just trying to make money off these things. Like, you guys are so worried about who created what and who created this and that. And I'm telling you guys sincerely from my heart, please make money. That's like the objective of all of this. Just make money and stop worrying about whether this person did that or this person did that or created that. Honestly, I can care less. Even if I did author something, I wouldn't be crapping about it, getting so worked up about it, because at the end of the day, if it helps somebody make money, that's the goal. If it helps you make money, that's the goal. Like, you guys are missing the mark. A lot of you Forex traders and traders, futures traders, all these day traders are like so focused on who's the one to claim territory. Stop trying to claim territory. You guys are missing the mark. The mark is simply that if you can help someone extend your hand, if you extended your hand, and off the extension of your hand, of the kindness of your heart, someone was able to learn and was able to capitalize off that, off the information that you gave them, man, you're doing it right. But when you start getting into the politics and start getting political about what's what and who did this and who did that, man, you lose a mark. And that's where I know whether I can take you serious as a trader or if I can't take you serious as a trader. For real. Let's be real here. All right. And this is a quote from James Clear, The Atomic Habits. And this quote is, goals are about the results you want to achieve. Systems are about the processes that lead to those results. So, as simply put, Alex Hormozi talks about, inputs, outputs. Well, okay. Goals are always outputs. Those are the results. Those are the things that you have a vision board about, which is great. It's good to aim for something, right? But systems, right? Those are the inputs. The things that you do, the actions that you take, those are the systems, right? And those are about the processes that lead to those goals. So it's like, okay, you want to get better at trading? Simple. Trade more. This is like so probably against the grain. People are like, no, less is more, less is more, less is more. No. When you're first starting out learning how to trade, if you're watching this video and you've made it this far, it's already 23 minutes in. Like, you're an OG. But if you listen to me, and if your point is to try to get rid of fear, I think ICT has mentioned this before. He said, if you're trying to get rid of fear in your trading, one of the best things that you can do is just to press the button, is to push the button. If it's causing any anxiety for you to get in there and trade, then push the button. Get comfortable with pressing that button. Your goal should be wanting to trade and taking action just on the simple act of trading. Then you can fix, you can see where you go wrong in certain areas in your executions. The idea is that you would learn from your mistakes, and you would want to improve every time. It's not just pressing the button. But I say more in the sense that, like, that's the act that you have to get used to. Just press the button. That's what's going to make you the money. So when you're over here scared, I'm scared, I didn't want to push the button, I didn't want to lose my challenge, I didn't want to lose my account. No, push the button. All right, just push the button. Get comfortable with losing. Create a healthy relationship with losing. It is an indicator to tell you that something went wrong, or that it simply just wasn't the time yet and you're trading, and that's just that, you know. So I don't want to get too much in depth into this, but that's what that is. So now we're gonna head over to the charts. I'll see you guys on the charts. Welcome to the chart, folks, and today this is the chart that we have open. This is the Dow Jones on the daily time frame, and to keep this simple, change in the state of delivery is the accumulation of the counterparty. Here there is buy stops, okay? When they push through with this candle into this specific level, the buy stops are then activated. People are breakout traders here, okay? So, since all the liquidity of willing participants who are buyers are willing to buy, and we're willing to sell, or, you know, those who push the market or the algorithm wants to pair those orders with shorts, they have to find those buyers. There's never a time where, you know, you're buying a position and at that buying, someone else is not selling. Like, in order for the market to be efficient, at the time that you're trying to buy, somebody has to also be willing to sell. You guys have to understand that basic construct. That is just how the algorithms are booked. And so there's a buyer here, whatever. That means that this is a perfect place for me to get into shorts. And so they're going to obviously refer to these liquidity levels, buy stops here. Of course, order block, potential order block here, right? Look at this, right? This is the liquidity, where liquidity is at. So if you know where the liquidity is at, you know where fair value is at. If you know where the fair value is at, you know where your order blocks are going to form. This is a potential order block. But I've mentioned to you guys before that whenever it's a large candle like this one, especially like this, because this is the daily, you would just want to wait for a next candle to form, like a next bullish candle to form, and then that candle would become your order block. So yes, this would be your potential order block in reality, but since it's too large, you would have to wait for such a large range to occur again for this candle to be confirmed that it is an order block, that it's just not realistic. Like, look at this candle's range. This candle's range is literally 852 ticks, right? Or points in Dow Jones. And you're asking for them to go back to, you know, 850 plus for it to be confirmed. That's not high probability. It's not realistic. So you have to learn how to have real expectations on these charts, and that would lead for you guys to have a better way of gauging price. I honestly do think that if you can learn how to be more realistic in the ranges that you're, you know, pursuing, and even in just what you're demanding from price, I think that a lot of you would do a lot better. You would pay yourself more. You would just go in there with a grounded perspective. I really truly do believe that a lot of us simply have a problem of having being overzealous and having too much expectations and demands on the market. So this right here lowers my demand. I don't have to demand so much from the market because this is a small bullish candle. So then my job is to simply wait till they take this candle's low. They do it there. Okay. Then we return. What did I say? Change A. Only thing that would happen is that it would come back to the opening price and the low of the candle. And that happens here. So this is a change in state of delivery. The reason why this order block, it's not just an order block, folks. I mean, it is just an order block, but it's a high probability order block. It's an order block that formed after liquidity was taken. After. This happened before. This happened after. Change in the state of delivery is confirmed. Now we form an order block. So if you know where the liquidity is at, you know where fair value is at. If you know where fair value is at, you know where your order blocks are going to form. It's fair for them to short it up here because they have willing buyers in the market, willing participants to go long. And so this happens here, right? and then price just tanks. And I said that if the change if the change of the state if the change in state of delivery has changed, if the CSD has changed, right? So we went from a previous state of bullish, now we're bearish, okay? There has to be a bearish draw on liquidity. So if now the delivery is on sell side, there must be sell side liquidity. So if this is where the change in the state of delivery happens, below this candle's low, there must be some sort of liquidity pool that we can target as we go short and follow the state of delivery that price is currently in. Okay? Meaning, my job is just to simply find a group of lows. It could be for you guys an original consolidation, a low resistance liquidity run. It could be even a BISI, which is a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency, where there's sell side lacking. Or it could just be a low, right? And so, hindsight's sake, because we have hindsight, let's just say this is what you had. Change in the state of delivery changes here. So the state of delivery, there's a change in the state of delivery here. And now there's a change in the state from the previous state. It was once buy side, now it is sell side. And there is a bearish order block here. Boom. Sell side. Sell side. Sell side. Yes, guys, sell side. Because the delivery is on sells, or sell side delivery, right? So now we're on the sell side of the curve, we're expecting sell side liquidity. It's that simple. We don't have to overcomplicate it. And so now it happens precisely in my favorite range. All right, now we're in the overnight session, discussion and ranges. And so we'll see how change in the state of delivery works for the overnight session range. Okay? So for the overnight session range, again, it happens here all the time. And so here, let's just say that sell side, buy side, right? Liquidity is now taken on both sides of overnight session. But just keep in mind that this was the last liquidity left in the marketplace, okay? We still have these lows here, correct? So now we have an order block that forms at liquidity, a potential order block, okay? So remember, this is a large up close candle. So our job is either to wait for a new order block to form, or we'll just have a delivery around this whole fractal. And so you see price, we don't close here, we wick back in. And one of the things that I told you guys about change B is that there's going to be high resistance liquidity run above the order block, and it's right there. See the pattern? Lower high, higher high. Liquidity was taken on that order block. So this becomes our rejection block. If you just project it out, this is in fact change B, okay? The wick to confirm the order block, and then there's also the rejection block signature. And when we return up to here, this is what we have. So you have to be mindful of that when you're placing your stops. And also, don't just be entering, shorts. Let it first, show its hands by not closing above this order blocks or rejection block and staying here. And then you would have another order block form at fair value, because order blocks also form at PD arrays. And you would have an order block form here. We have two order blocks here, so then we have a fair value gap as well. Wow. And that fair value gap comes in, we retrace, and then there's the sell side. We change our state of delivery here, and then we do it again, and now we still haven't taken out the sell side liquidity, so this is what happens. Boom. It's that simple. It's not a hard process at all whatsoever. You go over here, same thing, man. Overnight session, change in the state of delivery. We close above this order block here. we close above this candle right here. This candle forms under or at the opposing liquidity run, and because of that, there is a possibility, as I said, that there would be an immediate rebalance to the opening price or the wicks high, and that this would create sustained runs, and it would just be gone in a way that it will just be full of speed and sponsored in a certain direction. So here it is. The immediate rebalance comes in here. The wick comes in there, snaps back, and just goes running higher to a low resistance liquidity run. Just look at that, right? And now if the state of delivery was on sell side was taken. Now the state of delivery must change, which is why it's changed in the state of delivery. It must change. It must change, folks. And now we're changing from the previous state. So now we're looking for buy stops, buy side liquidity. And that's what we get. Buy stops taken. Good job. So just be cognizant of that when you guys are trading. In this case, sell side and buy side are above. This definitely is not a high probability trade because we never took out the sell side nor buy stops of overnight session. Same with this, right? This one right here is the overnight session again, but the buy stops were never taken. So you have to be cognizant of that. Sometimes prices is going to fall over, and just because sell side was taken here doesn't mean that it's going to change directions and it's just going to start going by to the buys. There's also certain things that I would say are macro fundamentals that would just have price run in one direction, and there's nothing really that you can do about it sometimes, and that's okay. But we have another one here, so it's like, oh, it doesn't work. You see, I found it. It doesn't work. No, that's not how it works. So buy stops are taken, right? This is a high probability trade. Buy stops are taken on the overnight session. Remember, any range. This could be any range for you. Any range. Buy stops are taken. And then we have a potential order block. So this is the first candle that closes there at the fair value. It closes above the liquidity. But this candle's too large. So remember what I said. Wait for the next candle. So this is our next bullish candle. So then you're like, okay, this range is smaller than this range. So when this low is taken, then I can trade back up into it. But then they create another order block. And you're like, okay, this was like more like a doji candle. And then here, they took liquidity, right, of this candle, snapped back inside the range, and then changed the state of delivery here. And then it has a small retracement in here. And it almost touches this candle. But this is why I say, right? Like here, this specifically is a change A. This is a change A because this is the order block, right? And this order block's high must be taken if this would be a change B or a rejection block. So since this is the order block, this candle, if this was going to be a rejection block, this candle's high should have taken this. And that opening or closing price would have been the rejection block, but that's not the case. So then we have things like this, right? Change A, very minimal retracement, but this is still an immediate rebalance. And then it comes and it just tanks. And that is what you're, aiming for. But again, like, you have to find where the sell side liquidity is for you. That could have been this candle's low right here. If it wasn't that candle's low, I mean, it could have been this low here. It just depends. Like, hindsight is beautiful and all, but I want to keep this something that's concentrated and focused on this. So again, sell side is taken here, guys. The idea is now, if price is bullish at this specific point in time, then that means that I would try to have myself look at where it's possible for price to go to. Like, if the state of delivery has changed, just know price is not just floating in the air. It has and it needs somewhere to go to. That's just how the algorithm works. So if there isn't that, if you can't put up a draw because it's at the all-time highs or the all-time lows, don't try to pick a short. I mean, don't try to pick a top or a bottom. Just let price do its thing, and then let price create more information around that area for you. This right here is sell side. So now we need buy side. Okay. What happens here? There's a fair value gap here, or a BISI. And remember how I said PD arrays. So if I go from here to here, that is your BISI. And then price is respecting that. And then we have the order block here. Wick, it wicks and then it comes back down. And then price screams. We have a deep retracement on this candle's wick, and then it screams higher to the buy side. It is so easy. It's literally so easy. This could have been some sort of level back here, although these are the all-time highs, guys. Change in state of delivery happens, order block here, boom, take it, immediate rebalance, change A, and price just screams because there's sell side here. So it's very simple. It's a very simple process. You just have to be patient to always see where the candle's order block happens, a change in state delivery happens, and then you get, you know, that happens. We retrace, immediate retracement, then price just screams lower. Then it comes back into it, back to this internal failure swing. One of my favorite things of price. Comes back to mean threshold of this order block, and then we just scream lower. It is so simple, but we overcomplicate things. And then look at this. Sell side is taken here, then an order block is formed, change in state of delivery. This is change A. Price comes back to the opening price, even to the mean threshold, and look at that. Then it's just gone. And now where is buy side? Oh, look what this formed up here. A low resistance liquidity run. So now we're targeting either this high or that high. And then this happens and price just screams higher. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. And in the next video, I'm probably going to get into more specifics of what ranges do I look at and specific things about my trading model that would help you guys gauge, you know, price action. And maybe I can do an introduction to that. But I also want to just keep you guys updated with my journey. And I'm just trying to make this one of the best trading channels that could possibly exist for those who are starting and want to learn. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to help you guys make money. I also want to make money. And I'm also trying to better myself. I'm just a 24-year-old guy. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. And if you tuned in, please hit that like button, thumbs up, subscribe button, whatever it is for you guys. And I just want to thank you guys. Have a blessed day. And be the